What's up, everybody? My name is Robert McCall with Team Dynamic Discs. I am used to be out of Austin, Texas, but recently moved to Emporia, Kansas to be the Dynamic Discs team manager. And while I don't get to play quite as many tournaments now as I did before, I still wanted to show you guys what is in my bag. Now, if you are interested in maybe a less accurate but probably more humorous in the bag video, you can check the description below for Zach Melton and Paige Pierce's description of my in the bag. But I'll tell you the discs that I actually throw. A couple of them are different than in that video. So we'll start with our fastest discs here. I have two Biofusion Defenders. Defenders for me are great on hyzers. For some reason, I like them a lot more on hyzers than I like on really flat shots or turnovers. They just seem to carry a little bit farther for me, so I'll throw these anytime I have a big hyzer. This blue one's a little bit more overstable, and the yellow one's pretty worked in, but these are both pretty good flyers for me. I'll use these, like I said, big hyzers, and this one will even go straight or turn over if I need it to. Mostly just for bomber type shots. So there's my Bio Defenders. Be on the lookout too for the Paige Pierce signature Biofusion Defenders coming out pretty soon. Next up in my drivers, I have three Enforcers. I've got my super duper overstable Fusion Enforcer with the double EMAC mustache stamp. This is basically the most manly disc that ever existed, and it's pretty awesome. This is a 168, but it's the most overstable Enforcer I've ever thrown. So any headwind, any forehand that I need to throw into some wind or a crosswind or something, this is the disc that I use. And then I've got a couple of Biofusion Enforcers here. This one's a little bit more new, so it's more stable, but I can still get a little bit of work, like maybe not quite turn, but a little bit more ride out of it than I would a brand new Fusion or a brand new Lucid because of the Biofusion plastic. So these are good workhorses for me. Straighter shots. This one will even turn for me if I need to. Next up are probably the longest discs in my bag right now, and that is the Sheriff. We just came out with a Sheriff pretty recently, and I'm really liking this disc. It's got a wider rim, but not the widest rim that I've ever felt. And this Fusion one is more understable. Put it on a little bit of hyzer and let it tip up or even turn to the right a little bit. I can use it for long turnovers, really long rollers if I need to, but most of the time I just use it for air shots. And then I got this one from Eric McCabe, as you can see here on the back. Several of my discs actually are gifts from Eric because he throws a little bit faster than I do, so some of these discs don't work for him, but they work for me. So this is a Lucid Sheriff. It's got a nice little pop to it, and this is a little bit more stable. So just really good for straight shots that need to tip up a little bit, but still finish back to the left. That's what I like the Sheriff for. Then I have two Biofusion Trespasses. These are actually both from Eric McCabe. We got a couple of Bomb Man prints on them. And this one is a little bit older and has a little bit more turn to it. I really like the Trespass because it's a controllable stability, and it's a really good speed for my arm speed and how quickly I get my hips around. That's what I really like these for. So this one has a little bit more turn to it. And then this one is actually pretty overstable for a Trespass. It won't really turn much to the right, just kind of tip up to flat and hold straight, and then a nice little finish to the left. So I really like the Trespass a lot just for the speed that it offers to me. And then we've got one more driver in the bag, but it's a kind of a specialty driver. I've got this Fusion Renegade, and this is my roller disc. I really like the speed of the Renegade. I like the rim of it for rollers. It's just easy for me to throw hard on a nice angle and get it down, and it'll just go pretty straight. Honestly, it doesn't finish really hard to the right for me. I just like it for straighter rollers. Yeah, Renegade is a fantastic roller. If you've got a little bit more arm speed, I think you should check it out. Now we're going to be on to our fairway type drivers. I've got three Criminals in the bag right now. The Criminal is one of my new favorite discs, and you may be asking yourself, Robert, you don't throw very fast. Why do you need the Criminal? I love the Criminal because it's so reliable. It's just really reliably overstable. I threw the Felon before. I just like the feel of the Criminal just a little bit better. And so this is a Biofusion Criminal right here with a digital D stamp. And This one is actually worked in pretty well, so it almost doesn't really fly like a criminal. It's pretty straight with a little bit of finish at the end. So if you're looking for something that's like maybe a little bit more stable than Escape, a little bit more stable than a Convict, check out a Biofusion Criminal. Once it works in a little bit, I think you'll be really surprised at the outcome you can get from it. And then I've got these two Lucid Criminals, pretty much the same. I think this one's a little bit lighter weight. Yeah, 169. And then this Proto is 173. I like this Lucid one mostly for forehands because it's flatter on top, and then I like the Prototype for backhands. But these things are pretty similar, just very extremely reliably overstable. So I like that a lot. On to my next Fairway Drivers. I have two Page Pierce Signature Convicts, and I think these are probably, I mean, this is probably the prettiest Convict in the history of existence. It's just nice, and it's got a little pop top to it, and this one's pretty darn overstable for a Convict. Just really straight, not really going to turn much for you, but just hold straight and finish to the left. I really like it a lot for that. And then I just put this one back in the bag. I had one, a white one before, that was starting to turn a little bit too much for me, so I put one that's just a little bit straighter, but these are going to be pretty similar for me. Next Fairway Driver is our Escape. I really, really love the Escape. I think it's an underrated disc. This is an older Biofusion run, and it just goes really far with little effort. I mean, you put a little hyzer on it, it'll pop up to flat, maybe ride to the right a little if you want it to. I just love the Escape. I think it's really underrated. If you have a little bit slower arm speed or have trouble getting a trespass or a sheriff to do exactly what you want it to, try out the Escape. I a lot of times will get similar distances from my sheriff to my Escape when I hit the Escape just right. I have one more Fairway Driver in here. It's kind of a hidden one up here at the top, and it is a Fusion Thief. I use the Fusion Thief for shorter rollers, or if I need something to turn over really quickly. I like the rim of the Thief for rollers. They do really well for me. So this one doesn't get pulled out a lot, but when it does, you can basically guarantee I'm throwing a roller with it. On to our mid-ranges. I carry 6 mid-ranges in the bag. For my mid-ranges, I have this, what looks like a Truth, but is actually a Verdict. This is a Lucid Verdict. It's a pretty early run of Verdict. I got this one from Eric McCall because early on they were testing this Truth stamp, and so they Dymaxed this onto the Lucid Verdict for him to try out, and now he's got a few of these, and well, I'm lucky enough to have one. Yeah, the Verdict is a great overstable mid-range, reliable to where you can get it out flat, but it's always going to finish left for you. Can handle some speed, can handle some pop. Yeah, I really, really like the Verdict a lot. I think my favorite mid-range is the EMAC Truth. I've got 3 of them right now. The most overstable is this Moonshine EMAC Truth. Got the team stamp on there. I mean, this is almost a Verdict. It'll hold straighter a little bit longer, but yeah, this is a great one. And then this is the first Team EMAC Truth that got sent over to me. This is a hybrid EMAC Truth, and it's quite a bit straighter now. Still has a little bit of finish to it. It is resistant to turn that I really like, but yeah, not quite as overstable as that one. And then this one is the Hand-Eye Satellite Runner, and that's also an EMAC Truth. Really, really straight for me, or if I get on it really hard, it'll finish to the right just a little bit. I really like how this one doesn't have much left fade. It's just either straight or dropping off to the right. I like that quite a bit. And then for my understable mid, right now I'm throwing the Lucid Warrant. I go back and forth between the Warrant and one of my EMAC Truths that's quite a bit more understable. And right now I'm just giving the Warrant another try. If you are newer to the game and you haven't thrown a Warrant, I suggest you try it out. This is a great disc to teach you to throw straight, to teach you good form, because it's going to tell you if you're trying to overpower things. So I really like the Lucid Warrant for that. For me, it's something I pop out on hyzer and just let it fade slowly to the right. It doesn't really come back. When it finishes, it kind of just fades out flat. It doesn't move much back to the left. And then if I throw it flat, it'll just be right turning the whole way. So that's my Lucid Warrant. All these are coming out of a sweet Dynamic Discs backpack cart. I've got my Ranger H2O in there. I like the H2O because of the hard bottom that holds everything in place. I have one more mid-range. This one doesn't see a lot of flight either, but I am so glad that I have it when I need it. This is a Lucid Justice. This is a very flat Lucid Justice, and just like the Criminal, the Justice only knows one thing. If I'm throwing it backhand, it's going to the left. Never going to turn. Extremely reliable. It's a great utility disc. I really love the Justice. I don't know if you can see how beat up the edge of this is, but I've had this since the Justice first came out, and this is the same one I've been using since then. Very, very overstable still, which is one of my favorite things. Now, onto my favorite discs. I love throwing putters. Putters are my favorite thing in the whole world to throw, and I've got this secret compartment on my cart back here. This is an original dynamic disc sniper bag. So I really love this. This is where I keep my throwing putters and my putting putters. So first off are the overstable ones. This is a Lucid Slammer with a sweet team stamp, and then this is a blend slammer I hit an ace with in Emporia. You may be asking yourself how long that ace was and should it really count, and the answer is none of your business. The Lucid Slammer is very overstable. It's like a mini Justice for me. I like it because it is a little bit slower and feels more like a putter in the hand, so I like throwing that for overstable approach shots. And then the blend plastic just grabs the ground a little bit more. That's what I like these for. Also, if it's a really, really stiff headwind, like 20 miles an hour or more, which surprisingly we have a lot of in Kansas. That's what I'll use the Slammer for headwind putts, because they don't really move. They just kind of hold the line for me, which I really like. Recently, Paige and Zach signed this one. Paige and Zach signed this one for me in the van, in the bag video. Even though they weren't there for the ace, they were kind enough to do that, and now it flies a lot better than it did before. Now, my favorite putter in the whole world. It's my favorite putter I've ever thrown. It's my favorite putter I've ever putted. This is the Warden. And I liked the Judge whenever we came out with it. I was used to putting a big bead putter before, and now I love the Warden. It's just, it feels so good to me. So this is my main thrower right now for straighter shots to left finishers. That's this Lucid Warden. Shane Klein is one of our accountants. He gave this to me, and it's yeah, I mean, it's a beauty, and it gets the job done. I really like that. And then I've got a Fusion Warden here that does basically the same thing as that, maybe a hair straighter, but I just have one for a backup just in case I were to lose that one. And then probably the putter that I throw most right now, and I just started throwing these again maybe 6 months ago, is this Blend Warden. This is the first run of classic Blend Wardens that we came out with. They had these double stamps here, and it just feels really, really good to me. These ones are straighter out of the box. They can hold a right turn if I want them to. If I just put them a little nose up, they honestly don't fade much to the left. They just kind of go straight. So if you're seeing me throw a putter approach shot, it's likely that I'm throwing either one of this Blend Warden or that Lucid Warden. I can't say enough good things about the Warden. If you haven't tried it out, you are missing out on a great flying disc. And then my two putters. I love to putt these first run classic hard Wardens. I have searched high and low for these. I've traded people for these. These are my favorites. They just have just the right amount of tack for me. I mean, I putt with stock stamp ones as well, but I've just really fallen in love with these. I've had this one in my bag for probably a year or so now that I traded a guy for a little while ago, and then I put this one in just recently. It's a little bit more overstable, so it holds the wind a little bit more. I use this inside the circle, and then anything outside the circle that needs to stay straight just a little bit longer, that's what I'll use this one for. One last thing that I keep in my bag that I think you should keep in yours, actually two things. One is I've got my Team DD Mini here. I have the words that I say to myself when I'm getting ready to putt on the back. A tip for you if you're working on your putting and having a difficult time with the mental aspect of it is say the same thing to yourself before you're getting ready to putt. Make that a part of your routine. I think that helps a lot, and because I don't throw so far, I have to count on making strokes up on upshots and putts, and so putting is a really important part of the game to me. So I've had this mini since I got on the team, and I guess it was 2013. It was a while ago. This is the one I look at every time I'm ready to putt. Last thing that you need to check out. It is hot right now. I don't know if you can see that I'm sweating, but turns out I am. Whale sacks. Tina Stenitis makes this happen. These are fantastic bags that dry off your hand. These have clay inside of them. You can tie them to the side of your bag. And Tina makes each of these by hand, and she is out there hustling all the time. So if you don't have a whale sack, you need to check it out. That's my in the bag for 2017. I hope to see you guys out on the course soon. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below or call into the Disc Golf Answer Man. We'd love to talk to you more. We'll see you guys later.